Hello and welcome to the very first Ingram Microcloud Microsoft Partner Community. Now, this is a bit of a different setting than what we were originally thinking for this podcast. We really did want to do this all together, having a roundtable discussion. But unfortunately, with everything going on in the world right now, we're unable to do that and we've had to put that on hold. And on that topic, I do hope everyone is keeping safe, staying home and staying healthy and staying positive as well. But we're definitely not going to let that stop us here at Ingram Micro from delivering this content to our partners. So here we are, just delivering this via Microsoft Teams. As this is the very first podcast for people listening, you know what to expect when you tune in. We'll be delivering these podcasts on a monthly basis, and we'll be covering off great updates on all Microsoft solutions, focusing on Microsoft 365, Office 365, Azure, and Dynamics 365, including any updates that may come up with the Microsoft partnership as well, to keep you all informed on all things Microsoft and all things Ingram Micro Cloud. This is really for Microsoft partners to ensure they're getting the very best of Microsoft, but then also the very best of Ingram Micro. It won't always be the same presenters on the podcast, depending on what we're covering. We may even do demos and more technical content. It could be more marketing and sales enablement. And we may even invite partners on as special guests to talk to us and our listeners and tell us their success stories. So who knows? The possibilities really are endless. And we want to deliver the best content to our partners. But the only way to find out is to tune in. And if there is anything that you'd like us to specifically cover, then please get in touch. We are open to and we actually want suggestions to ensure that we're providing listeners what they want. Now, that's enough of an intro today. So without further ado, let me introduce today's presenters. Today, we have Brad.Barker from Microsoft. We have Sam.Waters from our IaaS team at Ingram Micro. And we have Steve.Gifford from our Modern Workplace team at Ingram Micro. So guys, how about you introduce yourselves? Who are you? How long you've been with Ingram Micro or Microsoft and what you do? Brad, over to you.
Sure, thanks, Matt. Hey, everybody, thanks for having me. So I've been with Microsoft for just over 6 years, 5 years in Canada, and actually recently moved to the United Kingdom supporting our partner development teams, specifically around our indirect provider community. My role is to work with these partners and the resellers that they support, like Ingram, to drive the breadth of Microsoft services, solutions, and ultimately offerings to the broader partner community, ensuring that we're supporting you guys on business growth and profitability with Microsoft.
Brilliant. Thanks, Brad. Sam, over to you.
Cool. So I'm a IS account manager for Ingram Micro. I've been with Ingram for about 9 months now. Spent 6 months as a BDE, so enabling basically people new to Azure, so as a BDE for Azure, and basically enabling those guys to start using Azure, start building a practice and engaging with their end users and building an MRR. And now I focus on tier 2 accounts, so slightly higher, growing those guys and specializing in that.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot. And Steve, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So, my name's Steve.Gifford, and so I work within our Modern Workplace team here at Ingram Micro. So I've been with Ingram now for, about 8.5 years. So I think when I joined Ingram Micro, we were a software division rather than cloud. So there's been many changes, and I've been able to go through many of them within the team. So my role now is helping our partners to develop a plan around Modern Workplace, selling Office 365 or M365, and seeing how we can support our partners in reaching out to more customers and being able to be more successful when selling these solutions.
Brilliant, thanks a lot. And then to introduce myself, so I'm Mathew.Batterbee and I'm the UK Dynamics lead here at Ingram Micro. So my role is working with our partners to drive the sales of Dynamics 365 and help them get started on their Dynamics 365 journey. I know it's not the easiest thing, but we've got some things that we work on together with our partners and alongside our Modern Workplace and IaaS teams as well to help our partners begin their Dynamics 365 journey. And if they're already on it, we help them accelerate. But we'll go into that in more detail later. So thanks, guys. Thanks for introducing yourselves. Today's podcast, I think it would be great to start by discussing what we're currently doing at Ingram Micro to enable our partners to do more with Microsoft. We've got some incredible programs, as we know, in place for Modern Workplace, Azure, and Dynamics, enabling our partners to grow at a much faster rate. But do all our partners know about it? So that's why I think it's a good place to start. Make sure we all know, and hopefully, I'm going to learn something today as well. I don't think I know the modern workplace and Azure Accelerate programs inside out, so this is going to be good for me too. As well as this, we're going to be taking a closer look and discussing Microsoft Teams. It is now Teams' 3rd birthday, so happy birthday, Teams. And Microsoft Teams right now is helping so many organizations continue and try and be as normal as possible. Daily I'm seeing updates on LinkedIn of people posting Microsoft Teams conversations and meetings. It's really good to see. It's enabling people to stay connected, and it's enabling us at Ingram Micro to do a fitness class together every day. And it's making this podcast possible, so it's brilliant. So we'll be talking about some of our favorite facts and features of Microsoft Teams, integrations with other solutions, and what's new. We're also going to be taking a look at an incredible tool that Microsoft have created to enable partners to achieve more upsell and cross-sell opportunities, which is called Cloud Ascent. So if you've never heard about Cloud Ascent, you're going to want to listen through this. Wave finds it extremely useful. But firstly, though, I'd really like to catch up with Brad because it's been too long. So, Brad, I'd be keen to know, as I'm sure our partners would be keen to know, are there any key updates from Microsoft?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think those of us that work with Microsoft know that Microsoft always has something to talk about, right? But I'd say, I mean, in the last week, there's probably been 3 big updates I actually want to make sure the partner community is aware of from a modern workplace perspective. To start with, I want to talk about first the focus we've got around supporting our customers, partners, and colleagues, as you mentioned, Matt, on the current environment we find ourselves in with COVID-19. Common conversations we're having more so now, obviously given where we're at, is around business continuity, remote working, and optimizing operations. And I'm really proud of the work Microsoft's done to kind of step up and make sure we're taking care of partners, customers, and our employees in this time. And one of the ways we're actually doing this most, you kind of mentioned at the top with Teams, we've made some offers available to all partners through our Cloud Solution Provider or CSP program, where whether it's a SMB business plan or an enterprise plan, all partners have the ability to offer an Office 365 trial to their customers. So I'd say to everyone out there, if you're working with customers that are impacted by the solution, whether it's they're trying to remain productive or keep everyone connected, as Matt kind of kicked off with how Ingram does it, internally, we're seeing a strong uptick on that. We're at about 44 million users. We've seen a significant jump just in 1 week when the COVID-19 scenario really kind of took hold of the UK. Secondly it's April, and that brings the best time of the year, which is Microsoft's 4th quarter. And we're continuing to see strong growth across all of our business practices, driving over 25% growth year over year, which we've been doing, thankfully, for the last couple of years now. And Modern Workplace is no different. But obviously, with the focus that Q4 brings from Microsoft, we've added 2 new incentives to support our partners on increasing the effectiveness and impact, and ideally speed to market, with which you can go on our Modern Workplace solutions. And those 2 incentives are focused around business voice and Microsoft 365, and specifically actual dollar incentives that are tied to each seat that's sold. So if you have any questions around the Microsoft incentives that are available or new ones that are coming out, I know we've got some webinars coming up with Ingram. There's also always ongoing content from Microsoft, which you can kind of tap into there with our community calls. But I would say reach out to your Microsoft or your Ingram Micro rep, and we'll make sure that we get you guys connected with that. And then finally, I'd say there's been an announcement around Office 365 and SMB and the naming change that we're making there. To start off, I mean, there is no pricing change and there is no feature change. I think that's the big one to call out, and that begs the question, why are we making the change at all? It's really that Office 365 represents the suite of Office services from Outlook to PowerPoint to Excel. But for those of us using Office 365, it is so much more than that now. It includes Teams, it includes OneDrive. I could spend quite a bit of time going on here. We're up to like 12 or 15 services we include in the suite. And that goes beyond what the Office 365 brand is. So for our SMB offers, we're renaming them into the Microsoft 365 brand, but that doesn't mean that Office 365 is going away. What it does mean is that services like Office 365 Business Premium will now not have more features than Office 365 Business, and Business Essentials has more services than Business as well. It was quite confusing as we were introducing new services. So if anything, this is actually a refresh just to make a true step in terms of a clear understanding of which order the SKUs go in and what you'll find within each offer. But
Cool.
Matt, back to you.
Yeah, really good update. And actually, something that came out yesterday that I saw yesterday was around the new offers in the Power Platform as well in business applications. So there's emergency response solutions that have been built using the Power Platform. So there's a healthcare emergency resource tracking solution. There's a crisis communication solution and a crisis bot template. I was actually recently at the Scottish Summit, and amazing to see what you can do with the Power Platform. So it's really cool that, very quickly Microsoft are quick to provide just amazing solutions for, the NHS, for healthcare. And, I've seen some really cool stuff from a call center perspective as well, using like Power Virtual Agents to help take those conversations from people phoning up. So really cool to see. And then also from a Dynamics 365 perspective as well, Dynamics, some things to look into for partners, Dynamics 365 customer service available free of charge for up to 6 months. And there's also Dynamics 365 remote assist available free of charge for up to 6 months as well. So a couple of key offers there to kind of look into for partners, see if they benefit your customers, because you can add massive amounts of value to your customers right now. And as I say, for me, the most impressive ones, I love the new applications coming with the Power Platform. So yeah, just to mirror what you said there, Brad, I think it's awesome. It's great to be a part of something, that Microsoft are doing so much to help during this crisis. So yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. And then one thing I'd be keen to know, because you've been working with Ingram Micro Cloud for a while now in the UK. So it'd be great to know what your thoughts are, feelings, and favorite things about working with us, other than us three on the call right now, obviously. And with our offerings and things that we have in place, what really stands out to you? That'd be really cool for us to know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, other than you guys' beautiful faces, I mean, I'm really impressed with the breadth of offerings that Ingram brings to bear, for the partner community. And I largely outline these in like the three categories of people, portfolio, and platform. So like, as we look at people, there's obviously, Sam, as you kicked it off with your focus on IaaS, and Steve with yours on Modern Workplace, and then obviously Matt yourself on Biz Apps. We've identified some really strong pods of individuals that focus on the various cloud solutions. And I think that's important because these are deep technologies, and there's an aspiration to have someone who knows everything. And we do have folks that bleed across clouds at Ingram. But I also love the focus we've got on specialist teams around business development and technical. And that what impressed me most about the people pillar with Ingram is it's not just Ingram. And I think that's the thing I learned most as I kind of took on working with Ingram and continued to learn about the full breadth of offerings that we've got. So we've got a cloud team in Ingram Micro Cloud, but a couple of years ago, Ingram acquired a company called CommsCare, who is a partner first organization that actually delivers, technical, professional, and managed services to our partner community as well. And we're now working through how we actually take that to bear and bring that strength to the partners that Ingram supports, both locally and then also tapping into worldwide services as well through the centers of excellence, which you guys have built. So, I mean, people is bar none. It's a significant investment Ingram's made, and I'm really looking forward to as we see that continue to grow and take that to our partner community. The second one is the portfolio, which is both the package solutions that we're building. And, Matt, there's a ton of work we're doing here around the business applications Dynamics 365 piece, which I'm sure we will probably tap into later. But there's also the bespoke solutions that those solution architects we've got that sit here in the UK can help develop or tap into Microsoft resources as needed as well. And that really helps structure through those accelerate programs you referenced at the top. And then the third is platform. And I think that goes from the cloud marketplace that Ingram's developed, built off the technology of the Cloud Blue acquisition, which is also available to partners. The go-to-market hub, which every time I see a demo or hear about that just blows me away in terms of how easy it is to support partners on getting up to speed on new vendors and new technologies. to the Accelerate programs themselves and how they actually weave through resources, incentives, and development to help a partner kind of build. So I think as we think about those three areas, it's really exciting. And I'm just continually, what gets me up in the morning working with Ingram is as we push those further and see those actually kind of start to bleed into one another as well. I think it's got a massive opportunity for us, and it definitely is a differentiator.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, they were some of the things that I saw. So yeah, obviously I'm fairly new to Ingram Micro, starting at the end of November, and actually, I thought I knew Ingram quite well, but then when I actually really got started, I was able to see, as you say, the go-to-market hub. I remember Steve did my demo of the go-to-market hub when I started, and I was like, wow, there's so much stuff that I can offer partners. It's amazing. So yeah, no, really good point. And that actually leads us on nicely to talking about our Accelerate programs. You mentioned it well there that we've got these brilliant programs in place to actually enable partners to grow faster, to develop, and actually get started in a certain cloud. So if it's a partner that doesn't do Azure, for example, they can work with the likes of Sam to help them get started. So yeah, Sam, tell me about the Azure Accelerate program.
Okay, perfect. Well, I think firstly, at the current time that we're in, our lovely programmatical approach offers a nice structured and routined way of life, and a way of getting into the cloud and enabling your business to continue working at the moment with a lot less stress. Because you know that the support is there, you know that you've got that structure in place to just follow through, and you know that your business is going to continue to grow with that. So bringing ourselves to our lovely Accelerate program, I don't know if your guys are the same as ours, but it works off 5 pillars. So we have our lovely customer demand generation, our lifecycle services, some preferential pricing in there as the 3rd pillar, our competency building, and then finally our elite partner treatment. And then it is also tiered in there in multiple ways, and you get different benefits for each tier that you're in, basically. So we've got our fundamentals, which is up to an 8K MRR spend, and that unlocks your first set of benefits. Our develop tier, which is for 8K to 16K MRR, and that unlocks you a second set of benefits. And then obviously finally our elite partners, which are 16K plus, and they get the 5th and final pillar to themselves. So our lovely first pillar, which is customer demand generation, it basically revolves around the go-to-market hub that Brad referenced previously, and that Matt said is so wonderful. So with that, we offer digital campaign kits and playbooks, and our marketing team are able to work with you, obviously give you a demo like Matt had, show you exactly how to build those campaigns, which materials are going to be best for your campaign and the vendors and products that you want to push into your customer base, and they can help you build out playbooks to actually get in and attack those partners. On your develop tier, you then unlock case studies and a journey to cloud playbook, which just makes your life a little bit easier with different end users and how to help push those into the cloud. And then obviously case studies to build your success stories. Any questions for me so far, guys?
Yeah, I think you've obviously mentioned the 3 tiers. So you've got fundamentals, develop. I've already forgotten the last one. I do apologize.
Elite.
Elite, that's it.
That's the
one. But when you, obviously, if, for example, we had a partner that wasn't part of this program right now, did they have to start at fundamentals?
No, they wouldn't have to. Obviously, if they've got a customer base there, they've already got a monthly MRR in there and a spend there, and that comes over with them, then they would go straight into the develop or the elite tier. Or depending on potential for different opportunities, they will obviously get access to different benefits anyway, and we can help push that through. It's just, I think the idea of the tiered just lets people know exactly what they can have at that point. Whereas really with Ingram Micro, as you know, we are a huge enabler. So if someone comes to us with a problem and they haven't got that benefit unlocked right now, I don't really see a reason as to why Ingram wouldn't help them achieve that anyway with just the skills that we have.
Yeah.
Because our teams are amazing. We all specialize in different things, and honestly, you just get the right person on the phone and you have your problem solved within a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Brilliant. And then, yeah, so what do you get as an elite partner then? Let's listen to that.
Okay, so let's go for your elite benefits. If you want it top to bottom, so with your customer demand generation, you obviously get your playbooks, your case studies. We'll also help you basically build a marketing video around your case studies to push out to your customer base and to try and bring in new customers. You will also get access to a propensity list, which our marketing team will work through with you, basically help upload those leads and stuff for you every month and keep that all going. We then have our lifecycle services. With the elite partner treatment, you have access to pre-sale support and discounts from the get-go. You get some exclusive promotions around products, but you actually get that across all tiers. That's not just special to the elites. The same with the pre-sale support. That is from fundamentals all the way through, really. And the promotions will be tools and different services that we take on. So if we are taking on another vendor who's got a like a SaaS solution or a PaaS solution that we think is going to be beneficial for our customers and our partners, then we will push that out as an exclusive promotion into some of our customers, so they can try it, they can see the benefit, and obviously we can help build a case study around those vendors. So the likes of Nerdio, that amazing tool that everybody seems to be taking up at the moment for their virtual desktops. I know that we're doing some stuff around that at the moment within the Accelerate program. So you have a lot of access to different products like that to just try and make your life easier, try and help you guys keep more control over your Azure. Then through your elite and developed tiers, you get some target-based rebates as well. So that could be quarterly or monthly, basically just focusing on your growth and trying to give you some structure and some goals to achieve. If you've got goals to achieve, we tend to see that just people strive harder to reach that within a certain time.
Awesome. So that's incentives on top of the Microsoft incentives.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's
why wouldn't you want to do it?
That's exactly it. Like there is, and it changes throughout the year as well. So obviously, as Microsoft rebates change, ours change, and it will be bespoke to each end user as well. So each partner, and if they've got end users that they're trying to personally grow, then we can obviously set targets around that for them as well. And then we have our certification support, which honestly I think is one of the best things that we offer because of the experts that we have in the business. So with our competency building, obviously we will try and get you through the Microsoft Learn Paths for your exams. So your AZ 900s or your Solution Architect exam. So is that your 103, which I think's changing soon? I think that was a conversation I was involved in the other day, but basically you can earn credit by being one of our develop and elite partners towards those exams. So that can be $300 worth of credit for your develop and $500 worth of credit for your elite partners, just to put people through those, get your competencies and start to raise your profile within Microsoft itself as well.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, and at the moment, I think more than ever, and I assume it's probably because a lot more people are working from home, but I think more than ever on LinkedIn or even Twitter, I'm seeing more and more people that are getting their exams. You know, I think probably one that I'm seeing a lot of the moment is the fundamentals one. So I'm seeing a lot of the Power Platform fundamentals being achieved, Dynamics fundamentals, modern workplace, Microsoft 365 fundamentals, and Azure fundamentals.
Yeah.
You know, now's kind of the time to get them. You know,
it
while
is the
people have got
perfect
the time
time
to be at home.
That's exactly it.
So that's an amazing benefit. The fact that we can provide that credit, if you like, to actually go and get those exams, because you know, the minute you've got a salesperson with their Azure fundamentals or their modern workplace fundamentals, however that looks, they're just going to be much more confident in having that conversation with a prospect, with their existing clients. You know, if they're looking at a cross-sell opportunity, if they've got a customer that's maybe on Microsoft 365 and you want to push them onto Dynamics, if they've got Dynamics fundamentals, they're going to be more confident. Yeah, that to me is a brilliant benefit. So yeah, I'm learning here. It's good.
Perfect. And then even more than we're lucky enough to have our solution architects in-house, which obviously they express how much they want to help and enable our partners. And one of the ways that they do that is they will organize and help run training sessions to get you through these exams, and they've expressed that to us on multiple occasions. It's one of their favorite things to do. All they ever want to do is teach, and enable those partners to get through those exams. So that's something else we have to offer as well. I know that Nigel, one of our solution architects, has spoken to me about that before, just building bespoke programs to try and help get people through those exams, as well as getting the credit for those competencies, which is unheard of.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's brilliant, and it's something that I think we provide, across all three kind of pillars here. I've gone in with partners and delivered Dynamics 365 training, where essentially I've turned the Dynamics fundamentals course into a bit of an interactive training session that I can go in and deliver. Steve, I've been with you where we've delivered Microsoft 365 training to some of our partners. Really impressive stuff that we can do. So it's really cool that we do that basically across all three. And yeah, I think, as you say, the fact that we can offer that out, it's really unique, and something that you don't see everywhere, and something that partners want as well. They don't want, sometimes for an initial training session, they do want to do the Microsoft Learn stuff. But when you go on to a Microsoft Learn and it says it's 11-hour course or 20-hour course, or it's kind of, wow, that's going to tick away. But if we can go in and deliver a few hours worth of training, it's interactive, they can ask questions. That for me is the best way to start that training, because once you've got that base level knowledge, then you're going to be willing to go, I want to learn more, and I'll go and do a Microsoft Learn course, or I will pay for someone to come in and deliver that's a certified trainer, or however that looks. So yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly that. And on top of that, it's where everyone in the IS team started their training as well. We've all been through the same training that we push our partners to use. So, hey, kitty. So, sorry, just invasion.
It's okay. There's a cameo with a child. It's brilliant. I love it. Beauty from home. It was either going to be a child or a dog barking. That was going to happen on this call. It's fine. I'm waiting for Brad's bike to fall over in the background there.
We were lucky to get 40 minutes without her, I think, to be honest. And then, so obviously we all started our training there. So if you had any questions around certain aspects of the training or certain products within Azure, all of your BDEs, your account managers, your PDMs, everyone has been through that training, at least the learn part and the learn path. So if you needed support with, say, even just a small solution, just setting up like a VPN with a couple of VMs, and just making sure that's secure and working, pretty much any level of advisor within Ingram Micro, within the specialist teams, can help you deal with that. And we're all trained and able to help build solutions and to support with sales up to a certain point. I don't think that level of support is really provided anywhere else that I've heard of, where we can handhold and give the time as much as we need to. Like we really do just have the time to focus on a partner and support them the whole way through.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And it's something very similar on the dynamic side of things, where we were, as you say, solutions architects. We've got Ed Smith, our dynamic solutions architect, started at the same time as me, with 30 years plus experience of CRM and ERP, that is actually jumping on calls with our partners and potential clients to help them scope out those opportunities. And again, I don't see that level of support. I haven't seen that level of support elsewhere. I haven't heard partners talking about it elsewhere. So I think it's really good that that's something that we can provide, again, across all three clouds. I think, hearing that we can do that on Azure is awesome, because it just helps. It really strengthens what we're doing and strengthens our partners. So it's really good.
That's exactly it. And then our lovely fifth and final tier that we discussed was the elite partner treatment, which I always find this quite laughable, because the first part of that is the dedicated account manager relationship. Now, we've had a bit of a change recently, as you know, and the team has expanded massively. So that dedicated account manager relationship that you used to get with your developing elite tiers, you get from the start. There is, like, you just have that support from the get-go. So if you're a fundamental partner or like a tier 3 who's brand new to Azure, you actually will be aligned to one of our BDEs who specialize in growth and enablement. So you have that account manager relationship from the start, whether or not they're called an account manager or a BDE. That relationship is there and that support is there. from the get-go. And then on top of that, our lovely Global Cloud Summit, that I'm not sure if we'll carry on this year with everything that's going on. But when it does go on, that's exactly it. But when it is going on and the world returns to rights, you get discounts on actually attending our Global Cloud Summit as one of our Accelerate partners.
That's it, and they're not in horrible places. Miami, Florida, is not a bad place to get discount to go.
No, it's a good place.
Which is why I'm really disappointed it's cancelled this year. But yeah, no, that's really good. And I think you mentioned it before around, the fact that now every manager or a BDE, I think one thing that impressed me right from the start when I joined Ingram, and when I actually joined the Microsoft SureStep team in my previous role, coming into Ingram Micro and seeing actually people like Steve, for example, who was probably one of the first people I spoke to at Ingram and was introduced to, but hearing him on calls with partners and his knowledge of Microsoft 365 and his solutions that he's actually working on is brilliant. So the fact that, you mentioned every that training and they're all knowledge, because obviously I'm not there all the time, but when I am and I hear you guys on the phone, it's really impressive with the stuff that and how quick you are to help partners and how quick you are to get the answers for them. It's really good and really impressive. So I think, if partners can take anything away from this session is if you've got a question, pick up the phone.
Yeah,
because we've got the knowledge to help.
Please do. We just want to talk. I think another thing that I think needs a little bit of focus as well, as you keep pointing out, we've got experts in every single field, but I think more and more of us are trying to learn cross cloud now. So I know that me and you have had multiple conversations where we've discussed the relationship between Dynamics and Azure and the best ways to build with them together and build a practice that makes use of all of the clouds. And that specialization and that want to learn within Ingram itself and our specialists just helps our partners at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. We've said it before that the minute one of our partners is transacting Office 365, they're transacting Dynamics, and they're transacting Azure, their churn rate drops to less than 1%. They become that one-stop shop for their customer. And the good thing is here, we've got free Accelerate programs to help them do just that. So on to the second one. Steve, I know you're itching to talk here. Let's hear about the Modern Workplace Accelerate program.
Yeah, fantastic. It was great hearing Sam going through the Azure Accelerate program. And the Modern Workplace Accelerate program is not set up too dissimilar. So we do have sort of the three sort of tier levels again, sort of develop the fundamentals first, and elite. But the way sort of our Modern Workplace Accelerate program is set out is into probably three key areas. One is the partner enablement. So we often know that if partners are beginning their cloud journey, Office 365 is generally a good starting place. Maybe it's a migration for Exchange Online. Maybe it's just going to the full Office 365 suite. But that's normally sort of born out of a specific opportunity which they may have within one of their customers. And what we look to do within the partner enablement element of our Accelerate program is to make sure that you have the practices in place to be able to scale that out to more partners in the future. So that would be support around the marketing of sort of building, using the details within the go-to-market hub to really support and build a practice. As well as obviously Sam mentioned around the training element as well. So with Azure, we do have that funding and support available again. So if you're looking to take your Microsoft 365 fundamentals exam, we can support with training and prep work to be able to make sure you're in a position where you feel that you're ready to take that exam, and also support.
This program is going to really help with, if, for example, we've got a partner that's really upskilled on, let's say, Office 365. They've been transacting that for a while now. It's really going to help them from an upsell perspective into Microsoft 365 and really enable that with their customers. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, I'll definitely say so. I mean, obviously, Brad mentioned earlier in the call the changes which we made around the Office 365 S&B suites and naming of the conventions. So I think that will ultimately cause a lot of changes as well. But yes, I think the whole point of our plan is to make sure you're aware of what you get with those sort of more sort of essentials and basic plans available at the moment, and how you can look to scale that up and go to the next suite and kind of work along that ladder and keep growing those services to your clients.
Yeah. Brilliant. And I think, I think one thing that's really good that we do is the competency development side of things. I know, dealing with Microsoft partners, a lot of partners have the small and mid-market cloud solutions competency, but actually we're enabling partners here to really show their skills, do more intense competencies, I suppose, maybe not the right word to use, but ones where, they do have to go through those certifications and really show their expertise, help them stand out as partners. Because I suppose if we've got partners with the same competency, how do they differentiate themselves? So we're actually enabling partners to stand out, which is really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And from my point of view, I want to know sort of if you're a partner out there who's looking to get upskilled and to take these competencies, then we do have the support available to help. We just need to understand where your business is at the moment and where you're looking to grow in the future. And we can help build that pathway for you and make sure you can reach those certification levels that you need.
Awesome. And actually, one thing that I didn't ask you guys about, so we do have websites for all 3 of our Accelerate programs. So I didn't ask Sam about this, but for everyone listening, they are microsoft.ingrammicrocloud.com. And then on that page, you will see links to the Dynamics Accelerate program, the Modern Workplace Accelerate program, and the Azure Accelerate program. You can see more information. You can see promos. For the Dynamics, you can see our bundles that we've put together, our bundle offerings to help it make it easier to transact Dynamics. You can also see success stories as well. I'm actually looking at the websites now, and on the Azure side of things, some really good success stories, and exactly the same on the Dynamics side. And these websites are going to continue to grow, continue to have more, training enablement, success stories, demos as well. There's some Dynamics demos in there to enable our partners to actually deliver Dynamics demos without having to deliver them, really having it as a go-to hub for content across these Accelerate websites. So really cool to see.
Yeah, I think on that point, Matt, too, I think we all agree the Accelerate programs are fantastic, and they really help you build your platform and your practice. And like we've talked about, people to resources, both in person and online. I think the one thing I'd also highlight is there's been a significant partnership between Microsoft and Ingram, where we've actually put Microsoft badged individuals on the floor at Ingram that can also go on the floor at our partners. So if you're kind of on this call thinking, this sounds great, but I just need to start my Microsoft practice. And, I've been working maybe on a practice for a bit. I don't know if I have a competency. I don't know how to make the most of my competency. Obviously, like Steve, Sam, the broader team can all tap into individuals we've got on each cloud. And they're Microsoft badged, so they've actually got access into the systems that we have at Microsoft. They can see a different level of data. They work really tightly with the Ingram team. They actually sit on site. So it's like coming from the Canadian market to the UK, we actually didn't do it that way in Canada. So this is actually one of the things I'd say I actually appreciate most. And it's something I've always heard from partners is we want to see more of Microsoft and have more engagements from them specifically. It's a subset in group of people. So obviously we have to kind of watch the time that they've got and how they engage. But by all means, if that's something that's of interest, reach out to your Ingram Micro team. Like, they can definitely bring these people in. They're talking to the Microsoft team every single day.
Yeah, that's it. We've actually seen some really cool success stories of, for example, I think, Steve, you've taken in SureStep people before to do call-out days with partners.
Yeah, definitely. We done one just before the lockdown, I suppose. So it was sort of a great opportunity to be able to go in, and obviously from an Ingram Micro perspective, we offered support around how we can help. It was actually going through the cloud Ascent data, which I know you're going to be talking about a bit later. So we can support with solutions around our Modern Workplace Accelerate program. Obviously, I mentioned the partner enablement. We also have more support available around the opportunity enablement, how we can help you scope the requirement and assessment for what that client would require, and helping you put that proposal in place. And then finally, the last part would be our flawless execution. So how we can help you activate and how we can then look at the operation side of things to make sure everything is seamless for you. So the activation part was probably more relating to that sort of call out day, because we could have a look at tools to support with the migration. So I think we looked at, for example, an on-premise sort of client who's still sort of using Exchange Server, and how we can help them migrate to an Office 365 to an Exchange Online solution. So we could build in some of the other tools that Ingram Micro have available with our migration package that we work with AvePoint on. And we've got a fantastic promotion available with that at the moment as well to really help accelerate sort of movement to a Microsoft 365 solution.
Yeah.
And so we worked very closely with SureStep on that call that day and with the Microsoft team, and it's a fantastic sort of collaboration that we do.
Yeah.
In the office, obviously, I do miss the office, but I do sit next to I do sit next to the SureStep team, the Microsoft team there, and they're fantastic support. So yeah, again, we like to sort of bring them into conversation, see how we can help our partners.
Brilliant. And then to lead on nicely to the Dynamics 365 Accelerate program then. So we're working, really hard at the moment, really driving the awareness of Dynamics 365 and our Accelerate program to our partners currently. And actually what we offer as part of that Accelerate program is unique globally. It's a global program as well. I get the pleasure of working with our teams on Dynamics over in the States, in Canada, in Australia. It's almost like they want to keep the Dynamics people together, and we're in our own little bubble. But the good thing is that I get to share best practice with people in Canada, in America, over across EMEA, Australia, to ensure that actually this is the best program globally. And we're all kind of on the same wavelength. We've all got brilliant knowledge. We've all done our fundamentals, and we've got access to solutions architects on Dynamics. As I say, we've got Ed over in the UK, but then we've got Ray over in the States, Sonny in Australia. It's really good to see. And a lot of the stuff that we offer, we're actually enabling partners to transact Dynamics without the risk of having to invest, without the risk of having to hire new people into the business. The process that we're going through at the moment is basically I can go in and deliver Dynamics training. I mentioned it before that I've kind of turned the fundamentals course into a sort of interactive 1.5 to 2 hour training session that I can go in and deliver with our partners, or via Microsoft Teams, which I've been doing recently. And that's brilliant because I get to go in, train those people, help them have that initial conversation. And the good thing is when I'm ending that session and saying to them, can you think of customers that are a good fit for Dynamics? They literally say all of them because of how big Dynamics is and what it offers, the HR solutions, sales, customer service. It's really good to see. And we also have the pre-sales enablement support. We've talked about it already on the Modern Workplace and Azure Accelerate programs, but again, what we've got that we can offer with, I call him Ed as a service to fit in with the Ingram Micro. We talk about more as a service and marketing as a service and so on. I call him Ed as a service because he's absolutely brilliant jumping on end customer calls with our partners, helping them scope out Dynamics opportunities. It's really great to see. And it's increasing our Dynamics transactions through our partners. And then we also work with the best elite service providers globally and here in the UK to actually provide the implementations and the ongoing support for Dynamics. So we see, partners that, as I say, they don't have a Dynamics offering currently, but using our Accelerate program, basically we've done all the hard work and they can transact the licenses. They earn the Microsoft rebates, which, not to put the other solutions down, Dynamics rebates are higher than Modern Workplace and Azure.
Yeah.
So it's, it really is enabling our partners to develop and grow. And as I've mentioned already, by adding Dynamics into the mix of what our partners are transacting, it's making them that one-stop shop. It's making their churn rates go down. So they're keeping the customers better. And the statistics that we're seeing currently, if you're transacting Dynamics, you're 10 times more likely to sell. Apologies for calling me. I'll just live here. But you're 10 times more likely to transact Azure, and then if you're transacting Dynamics into an Azure consuming customer, you're likely to double their spend. It's really cool to see, and that's why it's really good that we're working very closely together, because at the end of the day, it's your partners that are transacting Azure and Modern Workplace that we need to start getting them on their Dynamics journey and helping them be very unique in the market. There's not a lot of partners in the UK that offer all 3 solutions compared with how many partners there are in total. So It's a really massive opportunity. And actually, currently, globally, 95% of Office 365 customers don't actually use Dynamics. So there's a massive market out there. And as part of our program, some of the stuff that we offer, we offer lead generation services. I've mentioned the pre-sales enablement. We've got marketing campaigns already set up, email templates that are ready to go, white labeled, so partners can just put their logo on, away they go and send. You know, and yeah, as I say, the for me, the big thing that we offer is we're enabling partners that potentially have never even thought about Dynamics before to start transacting Dynamics. But then if there's a partner out there that, let's say, for example, they're already selling the CRM side of Dynamics and have never thought about Business Central, it's not something they want to do. We've actually got another program, our Dynamics Angels program, which is actually enabling partners to become Business Central partners, so they can actually do a lot of the implementation themselves. So we've got a couple of different games that we're playing here, if you like, and it's really great to see that. And it's a big part of why I joined Ingram Micro, was actually how impressive the Accelerate program is for Dynamics. You know, when I heard about what we were doing, who we were working with, the partners we're working with, and how it is this global program, it's unique. It was a big part of my decision to join Ingram Micro. So it's really cool that we're now seeing that success of partners that actually are raising their hand and saying, yeah, you know, I want to have a look at Dynamics. Your program's the easiest way to kind of start transacting Dynamics, because we could literally have a conversation today. We could do marketing tomorrow, and we could get our first deal in next week. And you can't, you know, when you actually look at Dynamics and people look at starting a practice, it's, you know, you're talking 18 months, maybe 12 to 18 months to get that practice fully functioning. So yeah, it's really good.
I think that's something that goes across all three programs as well, like that, just the ease to get into and start a practice. Like it's unreal. Like you said, learning Dynamics on your own without any support is an 18-month journey. Yeah. But one phone call to the team at Ingram, and as you said, you've got that journey done in a week because you've had the support that's needed, and you've also been told the multiple opportunity that you have within that customer to go across all three clouds. Like, it's unreal. Like, for your first phone call.
Yeah, exactly. And you've actually led me on nicely there to Cloud Ascent. And you know, with what you've said there, essentially Cloud Ascent, for those listening that maybe haven't heard that term before, is a propensity tool which Microsoft have created. It's in your partner center, and you can look at your existing customer base and have a look at those cross-sell opportunities. So you can have a look at, you know, which customers are a good fit and a high propensity to buy Dynamics, Microsoft 365, Office 365, Surface, Azure. It's absolutely brilliant. And we've been doing a lot of work in the background here at Ingram Micro to actually take that Cloud Ascent data and turn it into, you know, a real usable data set that you've got where everything's on one tab. You can literally look at each of your customers and see where are your act nows, as they're called on the partner center dashboard. But act nows, they're a good fit to buy and they've got a high propensity to buy. And we can look at those and actually send you that data, so you can look at those customers and actually start to market appropriately. Now we have actually, I'm looking at the time now, and it's 10 o'clock. I just want to ask for my other presenters, has anyone got to go on to another call now? I know it's 10 o'clock. We are overrunning slightly here. I love talking with you.
Now my stuff can wait.
Okay. Are you good, Brad?
Yeah, I'm good for another 15.
Another 15 minutes, cool. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, as I say, Cloud Ascent, we're using it. You know, we're really focusing on that and really focusing on getting that message into our partners, because I think every partner I talk to, firstly, they haven't seen it before. And if they had, it's maybe, I'm not going to lie, and I'm sorry, Brad, you're on the call, but it's not the easiest dashboard. If you look at it for the first time and no one's told you what you're looking at, you're potentially going to go on it, look at it, and move on. No, everyone's running their own business and people don't have time to delve into that data sometimes. So we've done that work as well. So we're actually enabling partners nice and easy to look at that data. And then, as we've learned across the Accelerate programs, if you have got act nows across Modern Workplace, Azure, Dynamics, we've got the marketing tools and the pre-sales tools to help you actually go and attack those opportunities. And it's the perfect way to as I say, boost your cross-sell, boost your upsell in your existing customer base. We're basically providing you with, or Microsoft are basically providing you with lead generation from your existing customer base. Every partner I talk to, it's a real positive conversation. And all they want to know is, okay, what's next? How do we do this? Send me marketing and I will do it. So really cool tool. Now, as we've got 15 minutes, we're going to talk about teams. So what I'm thinking, if we could go round and potentially, because I'm thinking we don't want to go on too long, as much as we like talking to each other, how much the people like listening to us for over an hour, time will tell. But has everyone got maybe a fact or anything about teams that they like right now? It's Teams' birthday, so let's celebrate Teams.
I mean, the amount of time that everybody's spending in lovely little video conferences like this at the moment, I think that's kind of just got to be the number one feature, hasn't it? Just the fact that it is this good at collaboration. Like we've just managed to do a whole podcast in here. We've been holding meetings in this beautiful Teams for the last 2 weeks, and I haven't had any faults as yet. So
yeah, I mean, that's good. Perfect example there. I mean, we did a full update from Scott Murphy, our head of cloud. We did a full update the other day, the entire organization. Absolutely brilliant that we can all collaborate nice and easy together. Fitness classes on a daily basis. It's absolutely amazing what we get and how Teams is really enabling users to still collaborate. And we work with a lot of people that potentially at the moment live on their own, and the fact that we're able to have daily calls with those people, collaborate all the time with them, it's really probably helping from a mental health point of view.
100%.
We're seeing human beings and we're interacting.
We had a virtual pub on Friday, like that. For everybody's mental health, exactly like you said there. This at this point in time is one of the only ways I think most of us are getting our socialization for the day. Teams is a lifesaver. Woo!
Yeah, definitely.
I can back that up. As one of the guys who does, I live on my own, so I am sort of isolated from the world right now. So I'm seeing everyone through a video camera via like Teams at the moment. It's most of my time my interaction. So as I said, we did a personal training session. We've had the company updates, being able to have video calls with Microsoft as well as our partners. It's been fantastic, and I've even sort of got the family online and done like a little quiz with them and sort of did like a pub quiz side of things. So there's many things that you can do. And obviously you said like favorite features. I've had one turned on for this whole call, which is like the blurred background. So partly because I've got my kitchen behind me and I don't kind of want to see anyone seeing the mess I've got there at the moment. So it's perfect right now for me to be able to hide that a little bit. But we sort of think in the past where there was that BBC News reporter where they had their children kind of running into the live broadcast when he's working from home. So that doesn't, it's not really as much of a problem now as the blurred background. So it doesn't really sort of affect the, I suppose, the output that you're providing to the person on the other end. So it's fantastic tool.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of my favorite features is actually a new feature that's come in. And funnily enough, it's about dynamics. But you know me, it's always on my mind. So I will apologize. I have to talk dynamics. But actually, I think it's a brilliant one. And it's the Dynamics 365 Assistance application for Teams. So it actually is basically giving a sales team their own personal assistant. It helps them prepare for their day, prepare for meetings, takes notes during meetings and actually automatically saves them into the opportunity in Dynamics, and will actually give them insights and suggestions on the best next steps. So not only have you got an assistant, you've basically got a coach as well to help you. So it's not, I think one thing that I've seen from a Dynamics perspective is obviously release wave 1 is now in the process of going live. And it's amazing the amount of basically what Microsoft have done is made Dynamics even better from a productivity standpoint. And this is just the perfect example of that with Teams integration. It's awesome for productivity and it's awesome to improve a seller's success rates of actually selling. If you're not having to even go from Teams, save things down, and then put it in Dynamics. You literally just save it in Teams and it's in Dynamics. It's brilliant. So that's my favorite feature. Funnily enough, it had to include Dynamics, so I do apologize. Brad, have you got one?
Yeah, I think I think Sam, to your point, we've just seen like the explosion of using technologies like this, right? Which we've had for years. And I mean, we've all seen the statistics of like remote work. And I think the stat was like 75% by 2020. I mean, whoever wrote that didn't forecast this coming, right? So like, it's just crazy how many people like are kind of doing this for the first time, and it's fun to watch everyone kind of get into it. I mean, the most exciting thing for me, I think, is how everyone kind of turns on video now. Like before, you never used your video. You were like, no, I didn't do my hair or whatever. I've seen people now, like it looks like they just crawled out of a war, and it's like, you know what? I need to see someone. So it's been fun. But what I love about Teams, I mean, we're not the only platform that does it, but adding like the fun into it, right? So you've got like the GIFs you can put in chats, and you can even make your own GIF. But I'm gonna go off script here and see. One of the things I found out last night is Snapchat's Snap Camera is also integrated in Teams now. So if you wanted to try something new and you keep it all light, I mean, maybe if you didn't do your hair, you could be a PC monitor. So
do we call that the brand?
Keeps it exciting, right? But no, I think it's been really cool to be part of this. As terrible as it's been from a humanitarian perspective, it's really interesting how it's brought people together.
Yeah, definitely. And I think some of the latest updates are really expanding Teams. I mean, I'm talking to a computer screen. Oh no, there he is. Brad's back. There we go. But I think some of the latest features, including the real-time noise suppression features, things like that. It's really cool to see that actually, I would say I couldn't work without Teams now. And I'm not just saying that, it is one of those things that as soon as I started using it, it was kind of, this is brilliant. Where have you been all my life? And it just keeps getting better, which I think is one of the best things about working with Microsoft technology is just when you think, that's it. What can they think of next? Whether it's Microsoft 365, Azure, Dynamics, or an application like Teams, Microsoft Free. All these different features are just showing that, it's amazing technology. It's in 53 languages. Mm-hmm. I mean, this statistic might have increased over the recent weeks, but 93 of the Fortune 100 companies use Teams. And there's also, from an app source perspective as well, there's over 400 add-ins for Teams to make Teams even better. So, for me, from where it probably started, and I'm not going to lie, I wasn't using it when it started. I was probably one of those people using Slack when Teams became a thing. Sorry, Brad, I swore there. But where it is now, and I probably started using Teams probably about a year and a half ago. So I've been using Teams for half its life, and even in that time, how it's improved, the stuff you can do. And like you say, it brings a bit of, in our modern life, we're often, sending each other GIFs on maybe WhatsApp and things like that. So actually, it brings a little bit of personality into, some of the meetings or conversations that you're having with people. It's really good to see. So yeah, Teams, awesome. And I look forward to seeing it on its 4th birthday next year as well.
I mean, I think the environment we're into, we're seeing features come out faster than they've ever come out, right? I mean, that's one of the benefits of cloud is always on development. But I mean, with the Team's 3rd birthday, we announced the hand raising feature, which will be coming out shortly to all tenants. I can tell you there's a bunch of things I can't talk about at the moment, but Microsoft tests internally. So the roadmap in the last 14 days of features that they're asking us to test so that we can make sure we get it out to our customers and partners is phenomenal. The one thing I will say, if you're ever in Teams, the bottom left-hand corner, you'll notice a little question mark and a help button. You can actually suggest features through user voice there. So, if you ever have an idea on hey, here's something that Teams should use, to be honest, you'll go in there, have an idea and realize 1,500 other people have already had it. So I just say the voice, or like your voice, is being listened to, and we're constantly looking for what features we should include. And we recognize we're not the only one. There's Zoom, there's Slack. They've got great features themselves, and like we want to learn from our competitors as much as we want to be better, right? So I'd say for those out there, I would say the new Microsoft, there's always this talk of like, Microsoft has definitely changed under our new leadership team from what it used to be years ago. And the biggest one there is Microsoft Listens. So I'd say, like, if you have feedback, raise it through Ingram, and Ingram has the ability to kind of take that feedback to Microsoft. And, we do feed that back into our engineering teams so that we learn on the fly.
Definitely, and that's something I've seen with the latest release wave on Dynamics as well. Straight away you can tell that Microsoft have been listening to users, seeing what they need. Even for example, the update on Business Central, just making load times faster. It's seems like such a simple thing, but it just shows that Microsoft are listening across all features, and actually there are ways of raising things that you want to see across all the solutions, whether it's Azure, Dynamics, or Microsoft 365 in general. There are ways that you can raise those to Microsoft. You can do that through Ingram as well. So I think that's all we've got time for today. So I'm going to say thank you very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this podcast. Thank you very much to Steve, Sam, and Brad for your time and staying on, even though we've overrun slightly. What I'd say to everyone is stay tuned for the upcoming months, and let us know what you want us to talk about as well. Are there any things that you want us to demo, talk about, anything at all? Let us know. And most importantly, at this time, stay healthy, stay home, and let's protect our NHS. And on that, I will say, thank you to all the NHS and first line workers working so hard right now to protect us. And thank you very much, everyone, for listening.